Moving ahead, may I request Mr. Manoj Chugh, President Group Public Affairs and Member Group Executive Board Mahindra and Mahindra Ltd to kindly come up and share his insights. Mr. Manoj is a dear friend, has spent 4 decades in the industry. Most of it has been with the IT industry. And at present, he heads public affairs for the Mahindra Group, a diversified conglomerate of 150 firms. Mr. Chugh has always been a transformation leader for taking visionary steps in systems integration, high-tech products and global services. Please welcome Mr. Manoj Chugh.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor and pleasure to be here on this occasion. I know it's a hybrid event, so I can't see lots of friends, but I do hope that you can see that I continue to be as young as ever, and certainly I'm missing many of you physically here. I can't believe it's been 20 years since these awards have started, and I fondly remember almost every award night. You know, I thought Deepak had just turned 20, and it's amazing to see how the journey has been. So again, heartiest congratulations to everyone at VARINDIA. It's been an interesting, emotive journey for many of us to have been with you over the last 2 decades. I think coming out of the pandemic, many of us are pausing, wondering and thinking what the world is going to be like going forward in the future. And for many of us who've been incredibly successful entrepreneurs, what is it that we should be doing different, and how should we be looking at our own destiny? And importantly, how should we be making sure that the future of our organizations and everyone continues to be incredibly successful? I know these are challenging, difficult times for many. As you look at your business models literally getting transformed overnight just because customers' needs are changing. I want to remind everyone that if you were to reflect back and look at the years when you started your business, you need to go back into that mindset, into that mind frame, and ask yourself a question that what was the purpose for which you got into that business? And I think if we can answer that question on purpose, we are going to continue to be successful going forward in the future. To answer that question on purpose, many of you would remember that what you did was sit down and have a very active dialogue with your customers of those times. And it is your customers who led you to your journey of success. Many people turn around and say, oh, I was a great strategist, I was a great visionary. The reality of life is our customers were visionaries. Our customers took us in the direction which has helped us to become successful. So we need to go back to basics. We need to go back to our customers and ask them the fundamental question on what is changing in their business, what is changing in their environment, how do they look at themselves going forward in the future, because their direction is going to define your direction. If you cannot answer that question in terms of where your customers are going, you're not going to be successful going forward in the future. So number one, go back to basics, go back to your customers and relook at what the core purpose of your organization should be going forward in the future. And what you will find amazingly is that your customers are recognizing that their new generation of customers are dramatically different as compared to the core customers that they have served thus far. And therefore, they need to change the way they are engaging and helping their customers succeed. We know that digital has been a very big catalyst of the transformation that we are seeing around here. In fact, COVID has been the biggest accelerator, with due apologies to all our CIO friends, of digital transformation. Technology vendors, partners, lots of people, gurus have been talking about digital transformation, but the guy who really gets the credit for making sure that transformation has happened in every complete fashion, fortunately or unfortunately, has been the COVID pandemic. So, there's always a silver lining. Now that everyone has recognized the need for transformation, the question that we need to answer is, where is that transformation occurring? What are the skills that I need to build going forward in the future? How do I build those skills? And I think one thing that the pandemic has taught us is that less is more. Less travel has given us more time to spend with our customers virtually though, to spend more time in terms of thinking and strategizing and hopefully creating a better business for ourselves. We know that less is more. The other mantra I think that we have all learned is that we all have learned the art of giving up lots of things. And I think the same applies to our customers as well. They are giving a lot of they're giving up a lot of their infrastructure, moving to the cloud, giving you the opportunity to help them to re-architect the way they are going to engage with their customers going forward in the future. So if you were helping them build infrastructure, how do you now help them to move to subscription models? If you were in the past busy selling software to them, how can you now help them make sure that in a hybrid environment, they are able to optimize software licensing? If you were helping them to run their operations efficiently, how are you now going to help them to make sure that they are going to be able to change the way their fundamental processes are working? Because now in their processes and workflows, you're just not going to inject new people-led processes, people-oriented processes, but also digitized processes, or as some people love to call them, digital workers. Tremendous opportunity for you to bring physical and digital workers together in a common workflow, which is operating on data, which may be residing on the cloud, to drive new revenue streams for your customers, drive new mechanisms by which your customers can engage with their customers. I have very limited time, but there are 3 areas which I'd certainly like to talk about that you should look at as you engage with your customers. Number 1 is driving efficiency in existing processes. And many of you are doing that already through robotic process automation. So how do you make sure that you are able to deliver zero pass-through services, very low touch, zero touch kind of services to your customers for their existing operations? So make their existing processes, operations much more efficient, automate them. The second is, how do you help them to engage with their customers who are now coming to them digitally and not just physically in a seamless fashion? How do you make sure that you give what you call an integrated experience across the physical and digital worlds to your customers' customers, so that irrespective of how your customer's customer engages with them, they have that wonderful experience that we want to deliver to them, and make it easy, make it frictionless for them to do their transactions. So the second piece is customer engagement, customer experience. How do you make sure that both physical and digital engagements of customers provide you that seamless experience? That's the second area that you can work very closely with your customers in. And the third area, of course, is lots of your customers are also going to spawn new businesses which are born digital businesses. So as they look at their growth strategies, as they look at breaking away, as they look at new bold moves for their businesses, many of them are going to be born digital. That is where you can help them in terms of architecting their new strategies. I'd just like to leave one last message before I let you go on to the next speaker. And my last message to you is to learn to give up. I know that I sound like a spiritual leader when I ask all of you to learn to give up. And the reason I'm saying learn to give up is that there are lots of things, lots of dogmas, lots of ways in which we have run our businesses in the past. We just need to find ways to accept the reality has changed, to give them up and move to new things. Talent is going to be critical. The war for talent is going to be the most difficult battle that many of us in this room will have to fight. Bring in young leaders, groom them, train them, skill them. Bring in people who understand the new ways of engaging with the world. The young customers that you're going to see walking in are going to be far more focused around sustainability. They're going to be far more focused around environment. They're going to be far more focused around organizations that care for societies and the people that they serve. So their methodology, their way of evaluating is going to be dramatically different as compared to what we have seen in the past. I find many young buyers turning around and saying, I would rather pay more to engage with a sustainable business organization than somebody who's there just to make money and maybe giving me a better deal. I'd like to wish you all the very best for the future. I'd like to congratulate all the winners for tonight. It's a great honor and pleasure for me to spend the last few minutes with you. I know you'll be incredibly successful. I know you will transform yourselves. I know that you will transform your customers' environments. Remember, you can help your customers become more efficient. You can help them drive newer revenues from existing customers. And importantly, you can help them in their journey of moving to new businesses which are going to be born in the digital world. So congratulations, all the very best to you. And kudos to the winners once again. Thank you. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chugh, for that wonderful address.